boom chicka boom chicka boom boom chicka boom. That reminded me that I insulted my brother's beatboxing when we were little, and I feel like that discouraged him from being the beatboxer that he could have been. If I sound tired or the audio is just terrible in general, that's because I am tired and there is no mic. I don't have a mic. I don't have really any equipment. So, sorry. Now that we've established my brother's traumatic beatboxing past, we can talk about the meat of this video. What I'm doing here today is I wanted to recreate a screenshot from Kaguru Project of Ayano because she is my wife. I would do anything for her. When I see her, it feels like my heart has been stomped on, like just destroyed, like from the boots of that one guy from SpongeBob, the movie SpongeBob. Who is he? What is his name? The one with the spiky boots. Hang on. That guy. That is who stomps on my heart when I see Ayano, because how else are you supposed to feel? Look at her, she's crying, and the fact that she's crying makes me want to cry. SpongeBob aside, let's talk about the fact that this is my first video talking, and also my first speed paint. My other videos have all been animatics for my own characters. In the future, it would be pretty epic if I could make videos on them specifically, more on their background and who they are, because I've had them for several years now, and I have nowhere else to put them. Who else is gonna see them? And I think they're all pretty cool. Not that I think people are gonna see this video or any other videos, and it's probably for the better, because if people start like seeing it, then there's a higher chance that my boss will see it, and I really don't want my boss to see this video. This YouTube is linked to my work email, and I probably should just have used another email or made a different YouTube account, but it all seemed completely insufferable to do, so I didn't. That being said, let's move on to something a little more topical, a little more spicy even. So I'm a senior in high school at the moment, not for very much longer. The year's just about over, and you will not find me feeling sad about that. But all of my courses are online, and my graduation will even be online, and prom was canceled, and it's just this whole ordeal. But in the midst of suffering and sadness, or just grief that the class of 2020 might be going through, I like to find joy in the little things. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't find myself really doing my schoolwork very often, or at least the acceptable amount in order to pass, but that could go for a lot of people, I think. The transition from being in school to going online, and just senioritis in general, has led a lot of seniors and just students at the moment astray. And so what I like to do is not take my schoolwork seriously whatsoever. And is that a bad idea? Yes. Do I do it anyway? Yes. Do not take this as advice or initiative to do the same, but I literally cannot take my schoolwork seriously. Like, if I'm being forced to do something, or it's an obligation for me to get my diploma or whatever, then my brain tells me that I have to make it interesting in some way, because I could not care less about math or government or any of those things, because I would rather redraw anime screenshots, or I don't know, play Animal Crossing. That's also topical right now. And that's because Animal Crossing is awesome. I've gotten over like 110 hours on it by now. I know a lot of people have gotten very much over that number, but that's pretty good for me. I did more on New Leaf, but that's because I played New Leaf for multiple years, so I can only imagine that it'll be like that to an even higher degree with New Horizons because there's so much more to do and I cannot get enough. Like at this point in quarantine, my days can be summed up with like three different things. I wake up, I play Animal Crossing, I sleep, and then I draw. That's all I do. And in the midst of all of that, I constantly have YouTube playing or just podcasts or music because if I'm left alone with my thoughts for even a second, then I'll go to panic mode. I have to have constant distractions. I'm gonna be playing Animal Crossing and watching YouTube, or drawing and listening to music, or going on my phone. I could be like watching a YouTube video, scrolling through Instagram, and playing Animal Crossing at the same time. It's just how it is. That's our generation. This generation cannot be left alone with their thoughts because we are literally incapable of thinking. All of us are illiterate or just really stupid, and I'm part of that group, and I'm not denying it. I am a bumbling idiot. So I've actually wanted to make speed paints for a pretty long time now, but in the past I was using just really shitty laptops and an old Wacom tablet that I've had since like 2015, so I don't, it's not like there's anything wrong with them or anything, but I don't think my laptop could have handled screen recordings or really anything for that matter. So I figured it was time to move on. And with everything that's going on right now, I wasn't able to go to work anymore, and that gave me a whole lot more free time that I wasn't used to. And for like a super long time, I had been wanting an iPad Pro, so I figured I could finally use all the money I had been saving up and get it. And it is literally my pride and joy. And it just feels good because I worked hard for it and I was able to get what I wanted. And I was actually really nervous because when you save money for a while, it feels wrong to just spend a big chunk of it. But my friends convinced me that one of the main reasons I had started working in the first place was in order to buy things like this, and it's just a good investment in general because art is basically all I want to do with my life, and I want to be able to make the art that I want to make. I love just rambling and not talking about the art whatsoever. I've not spoken about the art once in this whole video, so let's do that. What's happening right now? I'm shading the hair. Super interesting. The thing with my art is that I can never decide what direction I want to go in. I either do like realism, semi-realism, or like neither. It's like I can't decide. So I try to settle for a painterly kind of semi-realism. So I guess that works when redrawing like an anime screenshot because those are very different styles. One thing with anime is that the shading is usually cell shading, and it's more simplified with harsh shadows and lighting, but I had to spend just like a couple hours shading and rendering skin and hair, but that's what I like to do, so I'm not gonna complain about it. What I love about K-Group Project is just, well, actually a lot of things, but the anime wouldn't be my most favorite. My most favorite would probably be the music. Actually, most definitely the music. I started listening to K-Group Project in like the 6th grade, and after 6 years of listening to something, you kind of can't help but grow attached to it. Not to mention that the music just slaps. Like, that shit is so good. 6 years of listening to something is kind of a hint that it's super awesome. I'm surprised that I've been able to just talk about things for this long, but I am sorry that you've had to listen to me ramble for over 10 minutes. Like, you're a trooper, I'm not gonna lie. I am gonna be starting to work again soon. Not as, like, many hours as I used to, but work is, work, so I probably should have started doing this earlier on in quarantine because it's been, like, over a month now, and I go back to work in, like, 4 days, so I really could have been doing this for longer, and now I probably won't have as much time, but, I did say earlier that this generation is stupid, and I'm in this generation, so I'm stupid. Like, chugging an energy drink at 3 in the morning, not a good idea, but all of our sleep schedules at this point are out the window. If you are not going to bed at 7 in the morning, then what are you doing? Are you, I don't get it. What are you doing? Do Do you go to sleep at nighttime? You do that? I can't imagine. Are you okay? I am actually getting pretty worried at this point because with me going back to work, that means I need to wake up at certain times and have an actual schedule. And my body has completely adjusted to living a scheduleless life of doing absolutely nothing most of the time. I literally don't know how to reset my schedule. Like, I used to go to bed at 1 or 2 at the latest and wake up at like 9 a.m. I haven't woken up earlier than like 10:30 in a really long time. Lately it's been almost 12 o'clock, which isn't terrible, but it's still the afternoon, and that's probably when I have to be at work. So that's where the problem arises. I literally cannot believe that I used to wake up and go to school at like 5 in the morning. I would wake up to go to school at 5 a.m. Who said that was okay? Even before we were forced to do online school, it's kind of what I've always wanted, which is a twisted turn of events, because I have always hated school, and doing it from the comfort of my home and being able to wake up when I want to has always been a dream of mine. And this isn't exactly the way I wanted to achieve that dream, especially since it happened at like the last couple of months of my senior year and everything kind of got canceled and stuff, but you gotta look at the positive side of things. Well, the drawing is kind of almost on its last stages, and I've been debating on whether or not I liked how it turned out. I think I do. There's certain parts that I think look weird, but after looking at things for a really long time, like, they always just start to look weird, which is something I struggle with because I stare at my art for way too long until it just starts to look like an ugly mess, and I hate it. But I don't usually hate it. I just get sick of it, I guess. Just like I'm getting sick of hearing myself talk. I started this at like 3 a.m. and it is 5 in the morning. Since I've never done this before, it feels weird because I'm kind of just talking to a wall. It's a more constructive way of passing time because at this point in the night, I'm usually just watching mind-numbing videos about things that I don't know if I care about, but it's just there as noise and distraction. This is the point of the video where people do their outros, and I've never done one of those, so let's give it a little whack. Instagram, TikTok, whatever, in the description below. Click that subscribe button, smash that like button. This is surreal. I've heard these phrases countless of times. This is an out-of-body experience. I'm the one saying these things. That's all, folks. I drew Ayano, and that's it. Do yourself a favor, get some sleep, rest your little bodies, and stay safe out there. I love you.